In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can run the GStreamer C and C++ code tutorials on your Raspberry Pi in the Geany text editor. So let's get into it. There are a few things you need to set up first, and I'll show you those now. This is a C program named test.c, and the only thing I had to do is change the pipeline. Let me show you. You have to change this because we're using GST underscore, and we're using the parse launch method, and then in parentheses, I have my pipeline. A pipeline is built so that I can stream a camera from a Raspberry Pi AI camera to a monitor screen. Down here, you're going to see at the end, there's a comma, and then there's null. You need to put null in there because the parse launch method requires 2 arguments. If you don't have it, it's not going to work. To get it to work, I found out that you actually have to do a few things. So here is the name test.c. Now that is a C program, and that is this program that I have open right here. So up in the left-hand block here in Geany, you can see test.c, and that's what we're looking at right here. When you're working with your code, you want to make sure that you're in the project directory. The command you're looking at is the one I had to do some research on. So what this does is it will compile a C program that uses the GStreamer library. So the GCC is the GNU compiler collection, and it's used to compile the C program. And we have a package there, package config, and you see that those C flags, that option provides and includes paths and other flags for compiling the program. And then the test.c, this is the source file that contains the C code for the program. So once again, here we have a $, and we have a package config, and then we have a space with a double hyphen in the libs. So that indicates the libraries for the GStreamer, and we want to bring that in. And the GStreamer is 1.0. So that's all in there. And then the hyphen letter O, small letter O, we put that in there. And then that's going to be our output file. So the test.c is changed to the output file name RPI camera, and that's what we'll use to run the code. Just a FYI, you do not need to use sudo when you run this program. Sudo just gives you temporary super user privileges. So here we have the same thing that I just showed you, the same configuration. I'm going to run that. When I run it, what's going to happen is it's going to create this test. And this is green because once you run your program, you want to give it privileges, and then plus, and then the letter X, and then the name of file, and permission, I know, sudo, of course. So in order to do this, to give it privileges, you have to be the root user. Everything's all done there. We've compiled the test.c. Now we have, this is the output of this file right here that we just ran. Let me back up here, get into it. I'm changing this test.c, and because I'm using the Raspberry Pi camera, I'm actually changing the output name right there. And so to run it, because the RPI camera file is in the same directory that we presently are in, you put a dot. That means basically we're running a program in this directory, the current directory, /, and then you can just put RPI and hit tab. And then if you run that, you're going to see that, hey, there it is. It's working. The camera's working. We're good to go. To close this, Control C. So this is really important. First thing you want to do is you want to run this, your project there, your program. So in order to work in the Geany, one thing you need to do is you need to set it up. So you go to Edit, you go down to Preferences, and you saw that the project file, so go to General, go down here to Project File, and then I put in / home / Tim, and then where the project folder is. So the folder is C_project, and then a /, and then you want to hit apply, and then OK. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to go up here to build. Now go down to set build commands, and I want to show you what I did. It took me a little time to figure this out. So here are just the labels, the command, and the working directory reset. So here you have C commands, and then in compile, It's very similar to the text that we just saw. So here in the compile, you do the first package, and then you do a space, and then in double quotes, put a %, and then F. And then over here in the working directory, the file that we're working on is test.c. So whatever you name your C program that you're working on, you're going to put there in the working directory. And then over here underneath build, we put that second part of that text statement that I showed you that I ran in the terminal. Put that in there, and then after that you just put in double quotes a % with a little e space, and then over here you put inside double quotes a % and F, and then over here in the working directory you put RPI camera. And the reason we did that is because, remember, I named my final file. I changed it from test.c, and the output file name is RPI camera. And then you go down here into execute command. Since we're already in the project folder, all we need to do, we don't have to go over here and put in anything underneath the working directory. All we have to do is go over here and put in this name, RPI camera, and we do the same thing, /RPI camera, and hit OK. Then there's a couple ways you can do this to run this. So you can compile it as F8, build it as F9, and then to execute it as F5. So I'm going to go over here to my, I've got the Raspberry Pi hooked up into a keyboard. And if you look down here, right there, you'll see their status, and then here's the compiler. So right now, I am going to run F8, and you can see it's reading the test.c file. So there's F8. I'm going to run F9. Notice how it changes right there, test.c, and then in directory RPI camera. And so here's the output, and then I'm going to hit F5, and there is the camera. It's streaming, and we have behind that is the GStreamer information that we get. And to close this out, we can either hit this in Geany as a stop button right there, or you can hit the terminal and hit Control-C, and that'll clear it out for you. So I hope that helps if you're looking for how to set this up for working with C or C++ programs in Geany. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you.